37.29. It is nearly 20 to 10. My name is Cathal Cullen. You're listening to Saturday People, and with me in the studio is Jack Palmer from Ballyouskill in Kilkenny, and Mem Dunphy and Joe and their families in Ballyouskill send best wishes to Johnny Palmer with BW.
So thank you very much, Mem and Joe.
There are people listening
and
to
all my friends there in Ballyouskill, in Castle Market and all around that country.
Okay. By the way, the text, if you want to send text messages to Radio Kilkenny, there's a new invention here. You can do it by dialing 086 8528 597. That's 086 8528 597. Anyway, Jack, before we started talking about the Black and Tans, we had talked about, or mentioned about the dance boards. What were the dance boards?
Well, they were dance floors that were constructed by the people of the district in cooperation, and they were laid down in vantage points. In fact, the one in Ballyouskill, starting around the early 40s and continuing until 51, it went on for 10 years. It was the longest time that any dance board ever existed in Ballyouskill. There were many dance boards there previous to that.
So what are you saying? That like timber being put down to dance on?
Yeah.
Like at a crossroads? That's
timber sections, you see, maybe measuring 10 feet by 12 feet and connected all together, actually like a dance floor. Of very nice timber.
And these would be put at, you know, you used to hear people put like at the crossroads, that kind of thing, no?
Yes. It was at a bend of the road, but it survived until the traffic came back on that road when cars came back after the scarcity of those in the war years.
Yeah.
And it was a free one, you know, there was no charge going in, but we used to sell tickets and have a raffle for various little prizes. I would like to mention what some of the prizes were.
Why not?
There were cigarettes.
God,
and I don't like to advocate too much talk about cigarettes, because I'm an anti-smoker. I campaign against smoking, actually.
Right.
And
who used to provide the music for these things, Jake?
Well, we had a very excellent band in those days, and I'd like to pay a tribute to one of our chief bandmen, was John Kennedy of Barnderry. And he died a month ago, actually. Regrettably, he was a gentleman of the first order. He was a magnificent piano accordion player. And then there was Sean Berrigan, his first cousin, also an accordionist, and Joe Kelly of Durrow, and John Phelan of Ballycalla, and many, many others. And we had a famous percussionist there, Joe Connors of Ballycalla. He was out on his own as a percussionist. We had a very excellent band, and hundreds of people used to come from far and wide.
And these people weren't paid. I mean,
we paid those.
Oh,
yeah.
You paid them, did you?
With the funds that we gathered with the sale of the raffle tickets.
Oh, okay. And what people would come? How often would you have these?
Every Sunday evening, from about 8 o'clock until 11 o'clock at night.
What had happened if it was raining?
Oh, it would have to wait.
Okay.
It wouldn't occur.
So obviously it was a summer activity.
Yeah, and then another feature of it was when the dance board would be over, the band and a crowd of us, you know, that were involved in the running of it, would retire down to Kennedy's house, Martin Kennedy, a cousin of mine, and we'd dance sometimes the night away then in the house. Yeah.
And tell me, would you bring Mary with you, or would you be going yourself?
Well, actually, we weren't married at that time.
Oh,
that was in the early 40s.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned too, Jack, about the weather in the 20s being bad. I mean,
very bad indeed.
Like
I remember all the hay that couldn't be saved. It had to be thrown away and dumped in the ditches and dikes.
Or was it worse than normal or something, the weather?
Oh, it was in those days. But then it started to take up in the early 30s after the Eucharistic Congress in 1932. People said it was all the prayers, you see, that were said there in Dublin, the Phoenix Park that year. Right. Changed the weather.
Do you remember, were you at the Eucharistic Congress?
No, actually, I wasn't. I wasn't at the but people actually drove from Ballyouskill. There were one or two cars in those days in Ballyouskill, and I remember some of my friends.
It was a big event in the life of the people at the time.
Oh, it was. That was a tremendous occasion that time. I remember going up to the top of the hill in Ballyouskill, which is 1,030 feet high over the valley where we lived there, and looking at the searchlights streaming over the sky. We could see them.
From where?
From Ballyouskill hilltop to Dublin.
To Dublin?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Really?
we can see from the top of that hill, you can see 8 counties, you know.
Really?
You can see even the Cumra Mountains down over Dungarvan from the top of that hill. You can see the Slieve Blooms and Devil's Spit and the Galties and Slievenamon quite clearly.
I definitely must go up there. It sounds
Oh,
exciting,
yes, you'll be missing something if you don't. It's a magnificent view. They call it Crummel's Road, you see.
Crummel's Road?
Crummel's Road.
Is that in reference to Oliver Cromwell, yeah?
His army came there, but he never came there.
Okay.
His son-in-law, Ireton, General Ireton, came there, and another General Fairfax. They were on their way to attack the O'Moores of Laois.
Right.
Their castle up in Drogheda-on-Mace. And at that time, Cromwell was thinking of going back to England because there was a plague here in Kilkenny at that time, in 1649.
Could there have been a greater plague than Oliver Cromwell himself? But anyway, that's
Yes, he was a bit of a plague too.
That's a different issue. But Jack, you obviously have a great interest in history as well, do you?
I love history and archaeology, and I've been involved in digging up the remains of the burial sites on the top of Ballyouskill Hill. We discovered a site, and it's dating back 1,500 BC. We had the museum, the National Museum people down there, Helen Prendergast and Michael Ryan and famous people like that digging up. We found ancient vessels as we were stripping a quarry for opal stone.
Really?
There's an opal stone quarry there, and we accidentally came upon these grave sites.
Weren't we very lucky that there were people like yourselves that came across them? Because, I mean, I imagine that sort of thing that people would sometimes just...
Well, only for Paddy Butler of Ballyragget. Paddy Butler was the operator of the big machine that was stripping the pit, and he discovered the huge flag that was shoved away, and we found the vessels down there then afterwards.
By the way, best wishes to Jack and his wife Mary from his nephew Joe McAvoy and wife and Jacinta and the boys in the Paulstown.
Thank you, Joe, and Jacinta and all the family down there. Thank you very much.
We want to continue talking, but we're going to have to take another ad break as well. It's just 9:45, and you're listening to the people, and Jack Palmer from Ballyouskill is in the studio with me this morning. It's, as I say, 9:45. Your third choice of music, Jack?
It's
John McCormack.
The third...
John McCormack. Oh, yeah.
Yes, my choice is the famous great John McCormack.
Okay.
With his great diction. You could hear the I, pronouncing the I, the dot on the I.
Absolutely.
He was great.
Okay, let's listen and then we'll come back then with some ads.
Radio Kilkenny, Kilkenny's #1.
And the winner stands to collect £6 million sterling. That's a whopping €10 million. That's a lot of money.
Each Saturday, the UK National Lottery jackpot hits at least £6 million sterling or €10 million. And often it's a lot more. Now you can play Rehab Lottery's UK Lotto right here in County Kilkenny. Tickets for sale at shops all around the county, including Nolan's Shop, Clara, Croke's Supermarket, Chapel Street, Mooncoin, Talent's Newsagents, Walker Street, Kilkenny.
Rehab Lotteries, UK Lotto, giving everyone a better chance.
Richard Duggan & Sons Menswear, High Street, Kilkenny. Winter stock taking clearance now on. All casual and formal tops by Andre, Christian Dior and many more now €20. All leather jackets €150. All casual jackets €80. Sports jackets clearing from €50. All knitwear now only €30. These prices represent up to 80% discount at Richard Duggan & Sons Menswear, High Street, Kilkenny.
Wednesday, March 6th. It's the date of an important referendum. The referendum is essentially about what we, the people of Ireland, want to say in our constitution about the issue of abortion. During next week, the Referendum Commission will be posting a booklet to all homes explaining the issues involved. There'll also be advertisements in the newspapers, as well as special TV and radio broadcasts. The information's there to help you decide which way you want to vote on March 6th. The decision's in your hands. Further information at refcom.ie.
Radio Kilkenny, real music radio.
It is indeed real music radio. So actually, a listener rang in to say there's great radio, and talking about the Great Recall and a very interesting programme, we're told. And thank you, Jack, for that. Also, best wishes to Dad and Mam from your wonderful father and mother. We appreciate all your help over the years. And that's from Bridie and Martin and the whole Palmer family. And congratulations and best wishes to Jack and Mary Palmer from Seamus and Mary Butler in Ballyouskill as well. So as I said, a lot of people out there who appreciate. Jack, you had an accident one time.
That's right. About 18 years ago, a tractor, unfortunately, ran over me actually, and damaged my hip, and it necessitated an operation in later years, which was carried out by the famous surgeon, Dr. Surgeon Michael Reardon,
out in
Kilkenny, and I'd like to pay a tribute to that man's skill. He's a very famous man, and I pray for him every day. And also Dr. Fall there, who attended us all so well, and I'm sure he has kept us alive for a lot of years.
Kept a lot of people alive.
Time.
Greatly dedicated.
That's right, and all our local nurses and doctors in Ballyraggett. They're very thorough, and I'd like to send good wishes to Dr. Kennedy there at Ballyraggett and Dr. Hogan as well.
That's Dr. Miriam Hogan.
Dr. Miriam, oh yes indeed, she's a great girl.
Great girl, sure.
Yeah.
There was. I asked you a question sometime, Jack. Was there ever a time when you wanted to give up? And you said no, that you were always very happy.
Oh,
and you said,
never.
God was very good to us.
He was very good to us.
How?
In many ways, because he must have been there with us all the time, with me especially, because I had so many accidents on land and sea.
Really?
Yeah, with tractors, and we had a big escape down in Kerry one time. We were down there at Valencia. We were going out on a ferry that would carry about 180 people between the Valencia Island and the mainland of Cork. And it was a good job that the ferry was unsinkable. It was a catamaran type of ferry with two hulls under it. But a freak wave came in, not one but about 10. In the channel, in from the ocean. We were going out to cross over to Dingle to see Fergie, the Funky, is it?
Funky,
yeah, I can't ever think of that fella's name.
Fergie is the lady that married one of the royal family.
Yes, indeed.
Sometimes
but we had to turn around. About a wave 10 feet high came in the front, and we were out on the front deck. We were all washed back on it. We were lifted up in about 10 feet of water.
Really? Were you frightened?
I was indeed, and only that I got my arm got caught between two upright pillars. I'd have been washed out.
I thought you were going to say that you're only for the fact that your arm was around Mary, you'd have been washed out.
Oh well, sure. She often saved me too in other situations.
Yeah. You're going to tell us about those, no?
The time wouldn't permit, I think, Cathal.
Okay, okay. When we say that God was always in your lives, I mean, you obviously have a very deep faith.
Well, I have faith anyway, and in the Almighty, because I can see evidence of that all through those years that we were married, and thank God that we had a great deal of health in the family. They're all living and all in good shape.
That's great.
And I'd like to pay a tribute to all my son-in-laws. I have some very nice son-in-laws and some lovely daughter-in-laws as well.
Sure.
4 sons, wives, they're all lovely girls. And my son-in-laws are lovely fellas too. I have a great time with those.
Do you?
Oh Lord, yes.
That's great.
They look after me so well.
Well, I'm sure they probably find it easy, Jack, because you probably you respond very well. I feel.
Oh, I don't know. Some say that I could be a demon too, just as well.
If Mary was here now, I wonder what sort of things would she be saying about you if she was here?
Oh, she'd be saying, how did I put up with him for so long?
I was a martyr, I was. That's what you'd be saying, is it?
Oh, yes.
Jack, if you hadn't done the things that you did in your life, what are the sort of things that you would have liked to do that you didn't do?
Well, I always had a love for army life because I was in the LDF, some calls it Dad's Army, you know, and I like army.
That would have been the pre-runner of the, what's it called, FCA.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Pre-runner.
Why would you like armies?
Well, I like the drill and the discipline of armies.
Okay.
And I often thought to be a good thing if the young men of the country, and now as the ladies are joining the army, that they spend some training time in their young lives and get acquainted with drill and discipline. Because I regret very much the country, the way the violence has raised, and the mugging that goes on in towns. People afraid to go out at night.
That's right.
You see, it shouldn't very serious now.
Definitely shouldn't be happening. What other sort of things, Jack, would you, if you had your life to live over again, would you do? Or what sort of things would you not do?
I always had a feeling that I'd have liked to gone into, but I didn't have the education, you see, to become a teacher. I'd liked teaching.
Why?
Well, I'd like to be
again,
able to give some help to young people to get them on in life, and you know.
It is, yeah. It is a very rewarding job, all right. You know, what are the things that you wouldn't like to have to go through again?
To go through again?
Well, obviously, apart from the accidents and that sort of thing.
Well, it was very difficult during the war years, you know, with the restrictions of food and other supplies, and all this thing of hassle with coupons and all that. I wouldn't like to have Ireland ever go through a period of war, and war is a terrible thing, and it's very regrettable what's happening out foreign at the moment.
Oh, it's frightening, isn't it?
Yes, in the Middle East and Israel and the Palestinians, the sooner that's fixed up, the better. That's a regrettable thing.
What would be your wishes for the future, Jack? I mean, and not perhaps obviously for yourself, but just in general.
Without going into politics.
Without going into politics. Oh no, we can mention the politics too.
Well, I'd like to have Ireland at peace, of course, number one. And if possible to have an All-Ireland, that eventually negotiations would work into that situation where North and South would be combined. Because there are lovely people in Northern Ireland. I spent about a week in Northern Ireland there a year ago. Right. And there are lovely people there in Northern Ireland. It's a pity to have us so separated.
Did you ever consider going into politics yourself, Jack?
Well, I was one time. Yeah. Somebody suggested I should go for the county council. Yeah. And because we see such a lot of hassle with the state of roads and that might be a great way of getting the roads in our northern area, because we're in a kind of a no man's land. You see, we're on the border with Laois. And we're just a mile inside the Laois border. and it might help too.
Sure.
We have no representative in the very northern end of the county,
okay.
on the council here.
Noel and Evelyn Mooney in Donaghmore, County Laois, they send their regards to both yourself and Mary as well.
Oh, thank you, Noel and Evelyn. I'll try to see you soon over there.
Okay. Okay, I'm afraid that's it. There's about 2 minutes left. We must leave it, unfortunately. I want to thank Jack Palmer from Ballyouskill for coming in this morning to talk to us. I appreciate very much.
It's only a pleasure, Colin, to come in with you.
Okay,
thank
that's
you very
it.
much.
I'll be back next Saturday, looking at it's, I think, with my last programme for a while, because the holiday programme's coming on then, but we'll check that out anyway. In the meantime, still listen to Radio Kilkenny. Jack Parler will be with you in a couple of minutes, and all sorts of good things on offer on Radio Kilkenny throughout the day. Slán go fóill.
'96.